Send you love, send you peace. Send you love, send you peace. This song continues within you. This song continues within you. Send you love, send you peace. Send you love, send you peace. This song continues within you. This song continues within you. Realize, release, real eyes to see unity in you and me. Unity in you and me. Send you love, send you peace. Send you love, send you peace. This song continues within you. This song continues within you. Send you love, send you peace. Send you love, send you peace. This song continues within you. This song continues within you. Realize, release, real eyes to see unity in you and me. Unity in you and me. Unity in you and me. Unity in you and me.
Whoa, whoa, and what a privilege it is to be here with Ronit Shefi.
It's a privilege for me too.
Okay. Ronit, that was absolutely magnificent, simple, and so beautiful, and it just thrills me deep to my core, and of course, that message of the song is really the message of your life, is it not? I mean, you don't just happen to write peace songs. You live it. Tell me a little.
I try to live it.
Tell me. Tell us all, Ronit, a little about who you are and what is and what's important to you in your life.
Who I am? Well, I think first of all I'm a soul.
Yes.
Quite old.
Yes.
Actually.
An old soul, no
Quite
doubt
old,
about it.
yeah. I sometimes I feel very tired, being so old.
Well, also being in this place, for somebody who cares so much, it can be very tiring. Especially now. But continue.
Especially now. But I think, even on regular days, and just regular non-war days without missiles.
Yes, the missiles, friends, the missiles are falling from Gaza, and Israel is returning them into Gaza. We are at war now.
Yeah, actually, did you hear the airplanes just passing?
Yeah, I heard it. I did hear.
Yeah,
I hear
they're
it.
around us.
I do hear it, yes.
Yeah. It's very strange, yeah.
It's strange. And that's why people like you and what you remind us of, what you teach with your music and in other ways too, so important right now. But yes, what were you saying? So you're an old soul, and no doubt about it.
And here in body, I'm a woman.
Yes.
That's the first thing I
identify
with. It's the first thing, being a woman. For many years I had this big conflict about it as a young girl.
Yes.
Seeing my surroundings, seeing in my eyes what it was to be a woman, it didn't look so appealing.
Okay.
And the examples I had around me were that being a woman is not fulfilling yourself, your dreams don't come true. You're very, very aware of your body all the time. I mean, not in a good way.
Yes.
Overconscious. Never satisfied with the way you look. This is just me watching my surrounding when I was still young. Being surrendering,
Yes.
Again, not in a good way.
Yes.
And today I choose to surrender many things from a very good place, but it's a choice. But what I saw was, I thought, if this means to be a woman, I don't want to be a woman.
Yes.
I don't know what I do want to be, but I know what I don't. So for many years I was in a real conflict with that, and I didn't want to have children. I didn't want anything to do with children, I didn't. And after quite a few years of, when I started doing my inner work, my journey with myself, one day I realized that I want to be a mother.
Yes.
And it was a very big surprise for me. Very
yes,
big.
very interesting.
Yeah.
It happens that way sometimes.
Yeah, it happens. I find more and more women that tell me very similar stories.
Yes.
So, when I was like that then, I felt like I was the only one in the world.
Yes.
And it felt very, very alone.
Yes.
But I found my tribe.
Yes.
I found my women's tribe, my sisters.
Yes.
And I know that I feel that I belong now.
Oh, that's one of the most important things in the world.
Yeah, for many years I feel that already. I mean, I
Yes.
was in a place. I know many people feel that they don't belong anywhere. I think
A lot of young people, especially.
Yeah, I think it's got to do more with not with our life story, but more with coming as a soul to this place, to this earth. Of course, we don't feel belonging.
Well,
we belong somewhere else.
and we come from somewhere else.
Yeah, so we're just visiting here, as far as I believe,
Yes, yes.
So it takes time to feel at home here.
It does. It does. Actually, I'm only just beginning. So I could identify a lot with what you say. How many children do you have?
I have two. I have my son Tohar.
Yeah, which means purity.
Right.
Yes. Is how old?
He just turned 17.
Okay.
It's a shock. Wow. Yeah. Time passes very, very fast.
It certainly
here.
does.
And my daughter Argaman.
Well, Argaman means crimson.
Crimson, right?
Yes.
She's 14 and a half.
Okay.
And I'm very, very lucky to have them in my life. I'm grateful for them choosing me as their mother.
Which of course they did, because all souls do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was So first of all, I'm a woman. Yeah. And
Later we'll talk about this idea of a woman's tribe, maybe even soon, because it's actually the time now for the women to save this world. And I know that's exactly what's happening. And we'll talk about some of your activities with your women's tribe. And yes, what were you going to say?
well, this tribe it's not it's not like we don't live together. I wish we would. I wish we could. Because many of my sisters are too far away from me geographically. Too far away. I feel sometimes that I wish I could be much closer to. Yeah. So it's not that we live in a community or anything. That's.
Yeah, I do understand.
I don't know if it's going to happen in this lifetime, but I'm still hoping that maybe one day.
Well, it could happen.
It could, it happens in places like California.
In some,
Here in Israel.
yes.
We're dealing with so much. With so much.
So
That's
much.
enough. With so much. That's enough.
Ah.
Anyway, what you said now about women saving the world is something I live. I just said it on the way here to someone.
Okay.
I met someone I didn't see for a long time, and I said, people are talking about what can we do? There's no solution, and I know that the solution is women. I know it. I know it takes time. It takes longer because feminine energy goes much deeper and it doesn't go in a straight line. It goes in spiral and it takes longer.
Yes.
But it's very, very deep and thorough. So I think, it's not just a solution. Okay, let's find a solution. It's something we really have to process
Indeed. And then a big part of the problem, a huge part of the problem, is the patriarchal religions.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that'll take time. It'll take time for them to sort of, as Kryan says, unless they change very significantly. Kryan, one of my big teachers, this angelic entity, he says if they don't change big time, they're just going to wither away with the passing of time. But it takes time. And that withering away is actually the hope of the world. So people won't murder in the name of an insane understanding of God.
Yeah.
But it takes time. And Kryan says that very often. He says, generational shift takes time.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, Ronit, you're coming up with songs that can, should, and will live forever. You know, I like that last song. I mean, I think of how John Lennon wrote two peace songs, and they both live forever.
Thanks for putting him here.
Well, your songs, the next song I'm going to ask you to do is, actually I would put both of these songs on the level of his work, but particularly the next song that I'm going to ask you to play has that kind of power, like Imagine, or one of his songs is Imagine, and the other one is All We Are Saying. Now the next song.
One sentence.
One sentence. Simple, so simple. Just like your songs are simple.
I do it from a very. It's a real deep choice to do it simple.
Yes.
Because, when I was much younger, and I wrote music from here.
Yes.
I was trying to make it as much virtuoso as I could.
Yes.
Find the most special. I didn't even write the words. Some of them I did, but I took many poets' poems. But I composed them very, very sophisticated.
Yes.
Trying to be sophisticated, and when I started writing my music from, I don't know, you can call it channeling. It comes from my heart.
Yes.
It's so simple.
Of course, it's channeling. Yes.
So simple.
Yes.
Very, very simple. And I even remember that one of the I had a guitar player who used to perform with me. This is like 12 years ago, and he said to me, "The words are too simple. You have to say things in a different way. In a more merumaz,
hinting.
Yeah, in a hinting way. It doesn't have to be straightforward." And I thought, I think that's the best way to bring the message. Simple.
Like John did.
You really can't run away from it. It's just there in front of you.
Yeah, and you can never forget it. If it goes deep, if it's simple and it goes deep. And, that's what your songs do.
So you're looking at the guitar trying to
hint
me.
Now I think I'd like to hear that other song, which is so powerful.
Okay. I want to say a few words before that, okay?
Yes.
Because it really has to do with what's going on now here. Because actually I wrote this song, We Are One, during the Second Lebanon War.
Which is quite a while ago.
This is, how many years?
I don't know.
8.
I'm losing track.
I remember the atmosphere in Israel.
Yes.
Everyone was feeling very hopeless.
Yeah, it seems more than 8 years, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay.
When the missiles were on Haifa and all that mess.
Okay.
People were feeling really hopeless, and you know, just this feeling, this very discool, frustration. I apologize for forgetting a few words in English.
Oh, don't worry.
I did have 4 years of my childhood in Minnesota,
Oh, that
but I'm Israeli, so maybe it sounds like I'm not. But I live most of my life in Israel.
Okay.
So people were feeling a lot of frustration. Me too.
Yes.
And I was thinking, what can I do? What can I possibly do to change this horrible reality?
Yes.
And I thought, well, all I know to make music. That's what I know to do.
Yes.
So I'll write a song. And that's when I wrote We Are One. And, okay, I'll sing it. And after the song, I want to tell you something about the first time I sang it.
Okay.
Where it happened.
Yes, I would love that.
Okay. Put this one on. So this song I do with many, many circles and gatherings of peace and...
And it's become very well known, isn't that right?
Yeah, it's in a movie actually. It's in an American movie called Femme, Women Healing the World.
Yeah, well...
Beautiful documentary.
How appropriate.
Got many prizes already.
Oh, wow.
Produced by Sharon Stone.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I'm in it too.
Oh, my.
I'll tell you about it.
Oh, my.
I'm very proud of that.
You should be.
Actually, I don't know how it happened, but the way things happen sometimes. No effort.
Indeed.
We are one. We are one. We are one. We are. We are one. We are one. We seeking for love when all the love is within us. We live our lives seeking for love when all the love is within us. We are one. We are one.
And it goes on and on and on and on.
Dear
we
God.
can sing it for, 10 minutes.
Dear God, in my humble opinion, that is maybe the most peaceful, the most powerful peace song that I know. I mean, it just
thank you.
is so powerful. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Okay.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
You're very kind with words, Eliyahu.
I would say that song is as powerful, as those other songs I mentioned of John Lennon, which I love. I mean, that is just pure heart and power. Mm-hmm. And it touches me very deeply.
When you're, I think, did I stop you?
No?
Okay.
Okay.
When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, and I feel that you do, your heart is open, so wide for everything to come in, then you really feel it, what you expressed now, you feel it.
I can imagine.
I just pray that everyone will allow themselves to be vulnerable enough to allow the good things to go in,
Yes.
There are other things, of course, but don't, I say to people, don't shut your heart just because you were hurt, because we were all hurt.
Yeah.
There's no person in the world that hasn't been hurt.
Yeah.
And, if you choose to leave your heart open, even though it was hurt, then you can feel so much love.
I could see thousands of people singing that song and shaking the governments of this world. I could see it.
I had many dreams about it,
I could see it. That song could bring revolution. The best kind of revolution. The kind of revolution that maybe will live up to this song.
I believe songs can do that.
Yes, so do I believe that. I know it.
I believe singing can do that.
I know it. And for instance, John Lennon's two songs, they did it in Eastern Europe,
In Estonia. Do you know
yes.
about the singing revolution in Estonia?
No, not exactly, no.
It's an amazing story. I saw a movie about it.
Yeah.
When I don't want to get the facts wrong here, but
okay.
They were fighting for their independence.
Yes.
But they did it with no violence.
Yes.
They were just standing in the, in the biggest open spaces they have and singing. Thousands of people.
Yes, the power.
But they have a very, very strong masoret.
Tradition.
They have a very strong tradition of singing.
Yes.
Singing in harmony.
Yes.
And they just stood out there and sang, songs in four voices in harmony.
Yes.
Very, very gentle, very. And when the army came to try and move them, they just stood there and sang.
It'll affect the army. It'll touch the soldiers' hearts.
That's what happened.
This is the power of song. And this
Power of
song,
love, yeah.
This song could do this type of thing. Yes, absolutely. Amen. Let's have some singing revolutions.
Let's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to tell a story about the first time you sang that song?
Yes. Thank you for reminding me.
Sure.
So after I wrote the song, I just very spontaneously invited people for a singing circle in the main park in Tel Aviv.
Okay.
And there was no Facebook then, so I couldn't put an event on Facebook. I had to call people and write emails. And about 30 women turned up.
Yes.
And we made this circle. It was August.
Okay.
We made this circle on the big lawn there in the park, with people playing soccer around us, and
Yes.
evening, an August evening, and the sky was covered in clouds.
Okay.
In just regular clouds, not rain clouds in Israel. There's no rain in August, of course. And we sang the songs I usually bring to my singing circles. I wrote many mantras, and then I said, okay, I want to sing this new mantra that I wrote, this new song that I wrote now. And I taught the song, We Are One, and we were all singing it together. And when we finished singing, I don't remember how many times we sang it again and again.
Yeah.
One of the women said, look above, look up. And we looked in the sky, and there was a round hole that opened right above us in the clouds. It was, I feel, I'm shaking. Yeah. It was like a proof that this energy that comes out through our voices has so much power to move things, to move things in the real world.
You betcha.
It's not just, it's not just something about feelings. It actually moves things around. And it was like, wow. So, I don't think that song stopped the war, but I could see proof that actually songs can do so much.
Well, first of all, there's the famous Maharishi Effect. The Maharishi Effect is they did large groups of meditators meditating at the same time in Washington D.C. and other big cities in the U.S. And what they found is when the people were meditating, the crime rates would go way down. Okay? And it's called the Maharishi Effect because he was behind that experiment and they were doing his meditation to him. And there are nature spirits and devas, and when you sing or when we meditate for peace and love, it gives the nature spirits and the devas power to affect change in the physical world, and it just opens a resonance of the energy of light and love, which has enormous effect. So,
and I can add the physical explanation.
Yes.
Actually, when we sing, when we use our voice as an instrument,
yes,
what happens in our body is because our body is mostly fluid.
Yes.
The voice, the sound, moves the fluid in our body, and it affects our whole feeling, our physical feeling and our mental feeling, and that's why people feel so good when they hear music and when they sing, even more than when they hear it.
Yes.
So it affects us physically.
And the energy fields.
There
are huge, it's been proven scientifically, there are huge electromagnetic fields around people. Yeah. And the heart field is the biggest and most important. And this type of music has huge effect on the energy fields of actually everything, human beings and trees. And
the frequency is I guess, it matches the frequency of the heart. And that's why it feels so...
Actually, there's a lot of hard science. They've proven that plants grow better with certain music. that chickens lay more eggs and are more peaceful and do better all around with
babies. Just look at
with certain music. I mean, there's proof, actual physical scientific proof from hard research. I mean, from actual research. I don't know how hard. From wise physical research. So there's a lot of proof out there.
Yeah, there is.
And and then there's Greg Braden, who's a scientist, one of my favorite teachers. He's done this thing with Doreen Virtue and another prominent singer-songwriter, the peace troubadour. He's a singer. He comes to Israel quite often. You don't know who he is?
What's his name?
The Peace Troubadour.
What's his name?
No, that's what they call him.
Okay.
And he goes to the war areas, even at the time of war, to sing. James Twyman. He's been to Israel several times. He's a musician. Anyway, they do this. They've done this thing called the World Puja over the internet, where thousands of people all over the world meditate at the same time, and they can detect the changes in the Earth's ionosphere and in the electromagnetic field of the Earth at the time of the meditation, and then it changes and it doesn't go back.
That's good. It doesn't go back.
From what I understand. So there's a whole lot of research. You could Google that. It's called the World Puja, Puja.
Yeah.
So it changes and then it doesn't go completely back. Anyway.
It's probably just like any other thing that you have to practice. You know, you have to go on and do it more.
Yes.
Doing it on and on.
Indeed. Well, they do it regularly. I think they still do it. Drunvalo Melchizedek was a part of that very often. Important teachers. Anyway, okay. So I started talking about the movie. Tell us about the movie.
Because this is the director of the movie is a man. His name is Emmanuel Itier.
Okay.
He's originally French, but he lives in Hollywood and he makes movies.
Okay.
And he's very, very pro-women.
Okay. Yes.
He's
as any sane person would be, I would think.
He's an amazing person.
Yeah.
And he came to Israel for the screening of his film called The Invocation.
Okay.
Maybe you heard about it a few years ago.
No.
And I was invited to be on this panel.
Okay.
The movie Invocation it's also a documentary about things happening now in the world. And he's interviewing many spiritual teachers and leaders. And it was on the Spiritual Film Festival in Israel.
Okay.
So they did a peace panel.
Yes.
And they invited me to sing "We Are One" there.
Yofi.
After the screening.
Okay.
I started singing, and while I was singing, we got the whole audience up on their feet. You know, people that came to see the movie.
Yeah, I
bet. We got everyone singing together, holding hands, walking around the Cinematheque movie theater.
Here in Jerusalem?
No, in Tel Aviv.
Okay, in Tel Aviv.
The festival was in Tel Aviv.
Okay.
And then he told me that he was doing this movie about women healing the world, women that do things for healing the world, and if I would like him to interview me, and I said, wow, it was an honor, you know.
Of course.
So the crew came to my home.
Oh wow!
And
how exciting!
It was very exciting, yeah. And they interviewed me, and the last evening they had in Israel, I had a concert in Tel Aviv. And they came to my concert just before they had to leave for the airport. You know, they came especially to film a bit of my
Okay.
of my concert, and there's even a bit of it in the film. And then after he got back to California, and you know, it takes a long time to make this movie. I mean, it took a few years.
Yes.
And suddenly I get this letter from him, if it's okay for them to use my music from my CD. Wow. You know, so they put 4 of my songs are in the soundtrack of the movie.
Wow. When did this movie come
Along
out?
with Yoko Ono's movie and music and Ricky Lee Jones.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did the movie come out?
It came out 2013.
Oh, wow. It's recent.
And actually, I have to say this. He really wanted the movie to be screened in Israel.
Okay.
And in the Spiritual Film Festival this year.
Yes.
The reason they didn't take it was because it didn't have the headlines, the translation, the subtext,
The subtitles?
subtitles.
Into Hebrew.
It didn't have it, and they wouldn't pay to make it here in Israel.
Couldn't they just show it in English and let the...
No, because they have the terms, you know, that all the films have to be translated to Hebrew.
Oh.
And that's, you know, yeah. And that's the reason they didn't have it on the festival. And this film, since then, has gotten many prizes already.
Oh my goodness.
It's amazing, and it's on the internet. You know, you can see it for, you know, like $4.99, something like that. You know, you can pay and see it online. Femme, Women Healing the World.
Why is it called Invocation? That song
song
is an invocation, by the way.
Hmm.
Why do they call it Invocation? Do you have an idea?
The other movie?
Yeah. Wait, that's not the movie?
That's not the same movie, no.
Oh.
The Invocation was the film he came to Israel for the screening of his movie.
Now I understand. Okay.
And then he was already in the process of making
Invocation.
Femme, Women Healing the World.
Okay, now I understand.
Which was the next movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Femme, Women Healing the World. And it was produced by Sharon Stone?
Yes, and she's in the movie also, and there's many, many very well-known spiritual teachers and women that are writers, Jean Shinoda Bolin, there's a Nobel Prize winner there.
Whoa.
There's a very well-known yoga teacher from California.
Okay.
All sorts of women, and also from other countries.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Some Chinese women and some Indian, I think.
Okay.
It's a beautiful, beautiful movie.
I have no doubt.
And I really wish that they bring it to Israel to something formal, you know, not just for home screening.
Yes.
It deserves it because it's, and I think people deserve to see it here in Israel.
I think they do as well.
It's very, very important, especially here, to see how important it is. The feminine energy is what we need mostly in this area of the world.
Right.
Because there's so much masculine energy here.
It's old. It's not even healthy masculine energy. It's old sort of
primitive.
Eye for an eye.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's
masculine energy, you know, and
it's violent. It's violent.
It's violent. It's tribal. It's angry. But that's changing too.
It's changing.
The
It's
young
changing.
people
but
are different.
I have a song that has it. You know, that has these words in it also.
Let's hear it.
Wow, I didn't plan on it. It's called "Listen to the Woman."
Okay.
Actually, I hardly sing it, you know, because I think, you know, I'm changing too. Many things in me are changing.
Of course.
And I think that when, you know, if a few years ago I felt this urge to protest.
Okay. Okay.
I'm in a much more. I do it in a much more peaceful way now. It's like I think. I feel that all these years I've been echoing this kind of energy and doing a lot of sacred singing circles, especially for women, but not only, but I focused on women, and the purpose was to remind women of their authentic voice.
Yes.
And to remind them to try to start expressing it, to use it. And I see it happening, you know, it's amazing, because when I started doing it, I was the only one doing it here.
Okay.
There wasn't anything like it.
Yes.
And I look around me and there are so many sacred singing circles.
Ooh.
Plenty of them, you know.
Yes.
For women, mixed, all sorts of them.
Yes.
So I think someone's doing the work. And I'm much more, gentle about it.
That's a good. It's an easier place to be.
Yeah,
it's a healthier place to be.
It's more connected to my true nature.
Yes.
To my true qualities.
I see that, absolutely.
Yeah, it didn't feel at home. You know, it didn't feel pleasant to go. Yeah, listen to the women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen to the women. We don't have to shout.
That's too much like the male energy.
Yeah, exactly. That was the conflict. See, the conflict was I don't want to be a woman. So, you know, what I see works out here is male energy.
Yes.
So yeah, it's but no, it doesn't feel me. It's not me.
Yeah, I could.
So I'm getting rid of a lot of strange energies, old energies that aren't mine. I used to Litzaner.
I don't know what that means. Litzaner.
You know when things go through you?
To funnel, to filter. To filter?
I think I used to filter many strange energies, you know, foreign energies, not my own.
Yes.
I was very affected by everything got into me.
Yes.
And I'm cleaning it, you know, I'm just like, I don't need this.
Oh, very good, Ronit. Very good.
So things come much more pure.
Oh, okay. Well, let me ask you this. What song feels right for you to play next?
Let's see. Maybe freedom of mind, freedom of soul.
Well, that appeals to me.
Yeah?
Since I've been looking for it all of my life.
Me too.
So it really rings a bell for me.
Okay, great. So this is also going to be in my my next CD.
Okay.
It's not recorded yet. Okay. Freedom of mind, freedom of soul, freedom of heart. Now I am whole, loving myself, loving my life. Loving is free, love is the key. Freedom of mind, freedom of soul, freedom of heart. Now I am whole, loving myself, loving my life. Loving is free, love is the key. Feeling, learning, listening, letting go, breathing, healing. Loving is free, love is the key. Freedom of mind, freedom of soul, freedom of heart. Now I am whole, loving myself, loving my life. Loving is free, love is the key. Feeling, learning, listening, letting go, breathing, healing. Loving is free, love is the key. Freedom of mind, freedom of soul, freedom of heart. Now I am whole, loving myself, loving my life. Loving is free, love is the key.
Ooh. Oh. So beautiful.
I don't know if you know, oh well, actually you think you know, I'm a pianist. I'm
I
not
know
a
you're a
guitar
pianist.
player, you know. This is like,
Oh, well, and
this is the instrument I use when I don't have a piano.
we got to switch to piano like
But-
soon.
You know, I thought about it because, you know, suddenly my fingers went wrong here and I thought, yeah, well,
All right,
if I would do it on the piano.
you want to do another piano?
Yeah, why not? Sure.
All right,
A change of
let's do it on the piano.
frequency a bit.
Before we do it, let me just ask you about your work with Jewish and Arab women. Or now everybody knows that there's this huge conflict between Arabs and Israelis, Muslims and Jews. But how are these women's group? Is it still a big conflict, or what happens with the women when the women get together?
Yeah, something very different.
Well, I'd love to hear.
I've been a part of a few women groups, you know,
Over the years?
over the years, but unfortunately, when you know some of them closed because when there's no funds from anywhere, they can't really last long because it's a real production, you know, to get Palestinian
Yes.
women and Israeli women together.
Because
we have to, you know, they have to get permits in order to get into Israel.
yes,
We have to, if we want to meet them there and, you know, on their side, we have to stay somewhere.
yes,
You can't just go to someone's home. You
no,
have to have a place. So these things cost money.
yeah,
You know, not too much, but
some.
some, yeah. And sometimes we just, we have a whole weekend together.
Yes.
So a few of these beautiful groups, they just vanished,
Yes.
Now, right now, for the last year or so, I'm a part of a group called Women of Action,
Okay.
which is a part of an organization called Seeds of Peace.
Okay.
And I'm part of another women's gathering, which is less active right now. Anyway, just a few weeks ago, this is really crazy. I mean, we're having this missiles and bombs and all that here.
You mean like today?
And just 3 weeks ago, I was in Jordan.
Yes.
With Seeds of Peace.
Yes.
For a big peace education conference.
Yes.
Workshop. We were 4 days together, and a big part of Women of Action, a big group of us was there too. Actually, this was already after the 3 young boys got kidnapped.
Yes.
We were there in Jordan, so this thing almost didn't happen.
Yes.
We almost cancelled it, and there was a big question.
3 Israeli boys were kidnapped
And murdered.
And murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But while we were in Jordan, we didn't know yet what the situation was. And we were together, people from all over the world. Palestinians, Israelis, Indians, Pakistanis. And I want to tell you this nice little story. When we just started, all of us together, a group of about 70 people.
Yes.
We're sitting in a huge circle.
Yes.
In the hotel in Dead Sea on the Jordan side.
70 women.
Beautiful. Not only women.
Not only women.
But there was quite a big group of us.
Okay.
So they asked, for each group out of this organization to get up so people could see. So when they said, okay, please, all the women that are here from Women of Action, please stand up.
Yes.
And we were quite a few. We were a nice group of women. So
Good.
people didn't know about us.
Okay.
So they asked, what do you do? Please tell us what you do. And we told them about our gatherings. So I'll get back to that. What happened was, after we sat down, one of the Palestinian men, a really jumpy one, he jumped up and said, I want to have also men of action. Why don't we have a group of men of action? And I told him, I think you're in action enough. I think what you need is a group of men in process.
Yeah.
So, everyone had a big laugh.
Yeah.
And I think it's true, really, I mean...
Men need to process.
They just, just leave the action for a while and start working deep inside. We became very friendly, him and me, later on.
I'm sure you did.
So this group, Women of Action, what we do is we never discuss politics.
Oh, how interesting.
We don't bring that in.
So what do you do?
And actually, in all the other groups I was part of, we don't do that. We don't talk politics. We don't tell stories, what a lot of groups do,
Yes.
They tell stories from each side, the stories of the loss here and
and this outrage and that
wounds
outrage.
of our side.
Yes.
We don't discuss these subjects at all.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah. What we do is, it depends. Sometimes we do healing. I gave a singing workshop, a vocal workshop. We had a weekend in Bet Sahur, which is it's called the sea area.
Okay.
Which is like, it's after the, it's behind, after the wall.
Okay.
But everyone can be there, we don't need any special permits or
Okay,
anything.
okay.
We stayed together in this Palestinian resort.
Okay.
And and we went to the spa together. Very, very, you know, very pashut, simple, very simple old spa, like something that looks like from the Turkish times, something very old. We danced together. We made mandalas together. Meditation. Well, when I did the vocal workshop, which is a very short workshop. It was just a taste, you know, just an hour, even less. At the end of the workshop, I asked the women to share, you know, whatever they went through in the workshop.
Yes.
We were singing all the time, and there was a Palestinian young woman whom I saw for the first time. I think she was new in the group. So it's not like that she already had a chance to be with Israeli women before. It was like a very new experience for her.
Yes.
And she said, I didn't know, it's the first time I meet Israelis from a different kind of Israelis.
Yes.
And
maybe she's used to
I didn't know they existed.
The soldiers
at
the cross points,
of course,
deciding who goes through and who doesn't go
exactly.
through. Yes.
It was, for me, it was so touching. I thought, wow, this was worth,
you
know,
betcha.
just to hear that sentence.
Yeah.
It was worth everything.
Yeah.
Because, and this is from singing, you know, not from talking, not from bringing my point or her point, or just being very, very intimate. Because what happens when women get together, and it happens in any kind of women's circle, it doesn't matter if they're Palestinian, Israelis, old women, young women, poor, rich, you know, educated, it doesn't matter where we come from or if we even speak the same language. Something happens very, very quickly with women together. There's like this very, very special energy of intimacy and closeness that happens very easy.
Yeah.
That's why I believe that if we have women leaders, and they will have to get together to, you know, to bring up solutions, to solve conflicts, I think they're going to, first of all, talk about their children with each other, probably, you know, and talk about things that don't have anything to do with the conflict.
Yes.
Because it's all about intimacy. It's about seeing that there's another person in front of me, just like me, you know, looking into their eyes.
Establishing trust.
And getting to know each other, really, you know, as a person to person, not as a politician to a politician, not as a peace pursuer to, you know.
Yes.
No hats, just very, very, very simple connection.
Yeah. It's got to come. That's what the world needs. Okay.
So, that's what I was, so that's what happens.
And religion doesn't get in the way.
Actually, talking about religion, on that weekend, you know, it was Shabbat.
Yes, the Jewish Shabbat, which is Friday night till Saturday night.
And Friday night, now I'm not religious. I usually don't, you know, I don't do any ceremonies that are religious. I do my own ceremonies.
Okay.
And Friday evening, Shabbat, there were a few Israeli women who wanted to light the candles and do the prayers and sing the songs.
Yes.
And they said, well, we're going to do this just before dinner, and everyone is invited, of course.
Okay.
And I came with my guitar.
Good.
And
always good.
Yeah, and you know, they put some candles on the table, and some Palestinian women came along too, and we all stood around the table. And actually, the Israelis leading the ceremony were singing songs I didn't even know. Some religious, maybe Karlebach songs that some of them I know, some I don't, but very catchy tunes, you know. So right away, with the guitar, I joined them, and everyone was singing. The Palestinian women were singing with us these songs, and the Israelis translated the words for them to English and to Arabic, so they know this is all about, you know, connecting to this one God or one power or whatever you want to call this creation. It's all the same one.
Yes, it is.
And that was the most touching thing in this whole weekend. It wasn't part of the program. It was just us together around candles, singing. And one of my Palestinian friends from Bethlehem, she said after that her sister has cancer, and she was praying while we were singing. She was praying for her sister with these Jewish songs for Shabbat.
Yeah.
It's much easier than people think. Really, it's much, much easier to find the similarities and to connect. It's just in a very, very different way from what people know or think.
That's so good to hear, Ronit.
So when I say, you know, and I hear even my father, I heard my father say it last week, it's time for women to lead this world. And I hear more and more men saying it.
A lot of men
and
will
I didn't tell them that, you know, they didn't hear it from me.
Yes, a lot of men know it.
It's something's happening, you know, there's a shift.
That's why
Angela
Merkel is the Chancellor of Germany, and America is not far behind, and the United
Denmark they have a woman.
It will make a difference. It will make a difference when mothers get together, and when women get together, whether they're mothers or not, they still
have a womb.
They still have a womb, and they still have a balanced brain. Well, they say that the male brain is left polarized more, so, and where women have more balance between the hemispheres. So
So that's it about.
Okay. Let's take a break.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.